Are you a pro wrestling fan? Then odds are at some point in your life, you were a backyard wrestler. In this new series, I'm going to take you through how we came from this to this. It's a long story, covering nearly 2 decades. But if you're a nostalgic person missing the backyard days of yesteryear and a simpler time of the 90s and early 2000s, this is the story for you. This is Backyard Wrestling Cinema. Welcome to Backyard Wrestling Cinema Season 4, Episode 5. Last time, the XWA, who was invading our company, the B4W, Brookwood 4 Wrestling, added the Slug to their team. However, a number of these shows never aired on our public access show because I felt like they were missing something. And back then, I couldn't quite put my finger on what we were missing. All these years later, I'm able to look back and I can see clear as day that what we were missing is vignettes and interviews and story. It's just a bunch of matches. When this tape kicks off, the start of it is just plagued with mistakes.
I don't know what Ricky said. Ah! There's the Slug. Off the ground.
Greatest champion of all time.
Tommy Thunder. I don't know what he said again. I'm recording nothing. It's a new tape. Okay.
My balls are. Oh, should I?
First, the Beast came out without the XWA, which when I was playing back, I thought it looked weird. And I'm glad that when I was playing the tape back, I could actually hear myself saying, "This looks dumb." So we redid it.
All right, wait a minute. This looks stupid if he comes out first.
Yeah, that is. All right.
But then we couldn't get the CD player working right. Now, for anyone under the age of 30, a CD player is almost like a record. Basically, this was like a 5-disc CD changer, and sometimes it would just randomly change CDs, and we couldn't figure out how to get it back. It was just this confusing mess. It's back before the time where everything had an LCD screen on it, and it only had like one little window that you had to kind of hope you were on the right CD. Anyway, so Minister Mark Moses was out at ringside, and he was just kind of stuck filling time.
How's everybody going over here? How you doing?
You can't.
Preach to my brother. Almost time yet?
He's got to go to church soon.
Before eventually we would just cut and redo it. It was clear to me watching this back that Mark Moses, who was previously Mr. Benjamin's, was just totally bailing on this gimmick. He's already wearing a hoodie. He just doesn't look like a minister in any way at all. And he would take on the team of TLD and the Beast.
He's coming down.
In the end, TLD and the Beast would get the win. Now, to me, watching back, it was clear that this match was supposed to be Minister Mark Moses and the Prophecy Michael Green teaming up to take those two on. But for whatever reason, Prophecy Michael Green just didn't show up this day. So we had to just kind of call it on the fly. Next up was another error when I came out as my character Denver Street alongside Tommy Thunder, and we called Criminal Cage Rico.
That's not for Slug tonight. No. I got a big match against Rico DMF for the United States title.
Criminal Cage.
Now, Criminal Cage had just changed his gimmick from Rico DMF, so we wanted to make a clear distinction that it wasn't the same character anymore, and I just completely ruined it. So we had to redo it. Eventually, it was Tommy Thunder taking on the Slug. Most of the match was Mac and Cheese, which is myself and Tommy Thunder, acting like the heels, even though the XWA was supposed to be the villains. Eventually, thanks to a lot of interference by me, Tommy Thunder beat Slug. And that just goes to show you, we just didn't really have an understanding of pro wrestling just yet.
Distracting him just long enough, Tommy. Cut up the lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. And that should be all. 1, 2, 3, and...
Next up was Criminal Cage defending the B4W United States title against me, Denver Street. This was one of the first times we were battling losing daylight so early, and we were using these flood spotlights to try and keep the image bright enough. Now, we were coming from high school and getting home and started by 3 o'clock, and with the time change and all that, it was getting dark by 5 o'clock. In the end, I knocked out Christian Greed with a guitar. The second week in a row, we used a different guitar that we stole from KB Toys because we worked there, and we would just open it and say that, whatever. A new referee came out, and I got the win and was the new United States champion.
Pushes him into the ref. Uh-oh. Denver Street's got his friend. Oh, nails the referee. Oh, God. Oh, that kick to the head of Criminal Cage. And the pin. 1, 2, 3. Denver Street is the new U.S. champion!
Afterwards, Criminal Cage laid me out and we brought out the fake blood. But again, because I wasn't that good with story, Tommy Thunder immediately came out and chased them off, and the B4W stood tall.
From behind. Denver Street from behind. Oh, they busted Denver Street wide open. Oh, here comes Tommy Thunder.
Tommy Thunder.
Denver Street's
down
further.
Criminal Cage. Left hand for the ref. Oh.
So if you've been following this, it's just kind of every time the XWA gets the upper hand, we chase them off and we're standing tall in the end rather than them ever putting us in a compromised position. Just not good storytelling on my part. Next up was the B4W World Champion, Homeboy Joe Slice, taking on the XWA Champion, TLD. And at this point, it was basically pitch black. In the end, Homeboy would hit his finisher, and that's when the XWA's referee, Christian Greed, would refuse to count the pin. Homeboy hit him in the dick and made him count the 3.
Drive-by!
Maybe.
The other time, block it!
Oh, the drive-by.
This could be all here. Ref's not going for the pin.
He was on the ropes. I'm not going to pin him.
That's it. I'm going to go in and save the wall.
He just nailed the ref in the loins. 1, 2, 3.
Again, the XWA is just not looking too strong right now, and it was around this time that I was starting to realize that. In a match that was definitely supposed to take place earlier and not supposed to be the main event in any way, shape, or form, Rob Oblivious lost to Bobby Bowe and the Beast in a handicap match. We knew right then and there that we had an issue taping these shows because we could no longer just tape things out of order. When you looked at the show, it would start off with darkness, then it would go to daylight, then it would be sunset, then it'd be back to daylight, then it'd be darkness, and the show just had this really uneven look to it. So we started trying to think about what we could do and what we could come up with as a solution. And in the next couple weeks, we would figure out exactly what we could do, and it was the perfect scenario for this XWA storyline. That's all for this week. We'll see you next time right here on Backyard Wrestling Cinema.
Slug does not look like a piece of crap. Slug running back up. Oh! Flips over his shoulder. Off the rope. Slug landed on his feet. Oh, and the head scissors. Oh, who put that? Oh.
He's coming out.
Oh, my.